The story starts in the Soviet Central Jail of 1973, where a prisoner named Bohemian had been incarcerated about 2 years prior. He observed that the captain of the kills was an extremely ruthless individual who would harshly beat the prisoners for his own amusement. Before long, Bohemian discovered a workshop that every prisoner dreamed of working in. Indeed, any prisoner who worked for 2 days in that workshop would have 3 days reduced from their jail sentence. Also, while working in the workshop, the focus remained on the work and the day passed comfortably. Then one day the warden called the Bohemian to his office and gave him a chance to get his sentence reduced. He desired Bohemian to assemble a team capable of doubling the workshop's productivity by working there. Additionally, he mentioned that if his team managed to accomplish twice the work, Bohemian would be released within a year. The warden informed him that he could form a team by choosing any prisoner he preferred, but when Bohemian expressed his wish to select a prisoner named Hatchet, the warden outright refused. In reality, Hatchet was an extremely dangerous murderer who had brutally killed 2 individuals, but when Bohemian stated that he is very hardworking and is important for the team, so the warden agreed to his point. Finally, Bohemian formed his own team, which included #Needle, Old Master, and a prisoner named Krushy. Bohemian's friends were a little scared of #, so Bohemian explained to them to just let # do his work without talking to him. Actually, Bohemian and Hatchet were very good friends because some time ago Hatchet had saved Bohemian's life. Well, soon their team reached the workshop to work. Their Needle started teasing a guard, which made the guard very angry. But right now, he could not beat Needle because they had to do very important work in the workshop. Well, then we see that all the prisoners were getting ready to work. After some time the guard came there and said everything was chocolates because his wife had given birth to a boy. But later the captain warned the guard to keep a distance from the prisoners because there is no difference between them and animals. If they think that the guard is soft-natured, then they will kill him. On the other hand, the problems of Bohemian's team started when # refused to start the machine. The captain signaled to # and he went to # and then # told him that there was a pigeon in the machine. He is stuck. So, all of them, collectively, attempted to open the machine, but unfortunately, they lacked the necessary tools to accomplish this task. Meanwhile, the captain, along with the guard, approached the scene to investigate what was happening. Despite the pigeon being trapped inside the machine, the captain still gave the order to start it. He then instructed the guard to initiate the machine, but just as the guard began to press the button, Hatchet grabbed him by the neck and insisted that the machine would not be started under any circumstances until the pigeon was set free. Then, unexpectedly, the Needle launched an attack on the captain from behind, ultimately killing him. He made them unconscious, and then he asked Krushy to close the door. Seeing all this, Bohemian got very scared because the matter was getting out of hand. Now the captain and the guard were in his custody and he started thinking about the future plan. Bohemian said that he would call the police and tell them the truth, but Hatchet threatened him and said that if he did anything like this then he would kill the captain, on which the captain angrily said that none of them would survive, due to which all of them got very scared. Then Bohemian mentioned that they ought to leave the captain and the guard behind and resume their work. Both Master and Krushy agreed with Bohemian's suggestion, but Needle understood that leaving the captain would result in losing his life. Bohemian then attempted to release the guard from Hatchet's grip, but Hatchet insisted that until the pigeon was freed, no work would commence and it would all be pointless. Bohemian made another attempt to restart the machine, but unfortunately, he was unsuccessful. Now Hatchet said that if this pigeon is killed then I will kill this guard also. Upon hearing this, the captain laughed and asked why Hatchet was making such a fuss over a small bird. Then he mocked Hatchet's deceased brother, which enraged Hatchet, prompting him to charge at the captain. However, the other prisoners managed to calm him down. I realized that the rest of the jail guards would arrive soon. So, he devised a plan to release the captain and the guards, hoping that in return, he could safely return to jail. Well, in a short while the guards came and started knocking on the door, then the captain shouted and told them the whole situation. Neum went to the door and said his point, but then the guards started opening the door from outside, then one guard sat in the car and went to call the other guards. On the other hand, the old master said that he will go out and talk to the guards. Then he came out of the door with his hands raised, then a guard pointed a gun at him, then suddenly that guard fired a shot without any reason, due to which the master died on the spot. When Bohemian and his companions came to know about this, Bohemian broke the control unit in anger, due to which the door got closed again. Then after some time the jail warden and the ambulance reached there. The warden wanted to resolve the issue by speaking with the prisoners. He attempted to dismiss the policeman to prevent the prisoners from acting out of fear. However, the police chief refused to leave. Meanwhile, the prisoners were trapped inside, unsure of their next move. Then, the Bohemian handed water to the captain, suggesting he open the door and surrender to the police. However, Qureshi mentioned that they would encounter the same fate as what happened to the old master. Then Hatred also threatened that if any of them dared to open the door, he would kill both the guard and the captain. So, you all need to look after yourselves. Eventually, everyone realized that if they wanted to get through this situation alive, they would have to ensure the pigeon was taken out unharmed. At this point, the police chief informed the warden that he had been given just 1 hour to resolve the issue, or else the police would be forced to enter by force. Then, the warden addressed the prisoners using a microphone and told them, "Listen, brothers, please release the captain and the guard unharmed. I am doing well for you." Border tried to reassure them that nothing harmful would happen, and they would eventually dismiss this incident as a simple mistake. Then, Niam decided to attempt opening the machine once more. He took the key from the captain and released Hatred from the chains. When Needle objected to this action, Bohemian stated that he would unlock the door and surrender himself to the police, but only after he had freed the pigeon. This started a scuffle between Needle and Bohemian. Needle was about to kill Bohemian with a tool when lifted him from behind and threw him against the wall. After this, they all started opening the machine. Then opened the door with the force of his arms in a few moments, but there was still one more layer to be removed. They saw that the pigeon was still alive. Then Bowman asked Hedget why he was putting so much effort into saving a pigeon. Hedget explained that he experiences nightmares every single day, where he finds himself buried alive in a grave. He screams desperately, but in the end, he dies from suffocation. Now, he was seeing himself reflected in this pigeon, and for some reason, he felt that if he could save this pigeon, then perhaps he might also be saved, and his nightmares might finally cease. Well, then the Bohemian asked the guard for assistance in opening the machine. He suggested that first, they should release the captain so the captain could go out and report everything to the police. However, the Needle was not at all ready to let him go and suddenly attacked the captain with a stick. At that moment, I explained to the guard, "Brother, if we release this captain, you will be killed along with us. The government won't hesitate to use bullets, and they won't spare you just to save us." Bohemian threatened to chain the guard, so he agreed to help. Meanwhile, outside the police captain and warden were thinking about how to solve this case. The warden was sure that the captain and the guard were still alive. Here in the workshop, Kreisai and the guard went to get a tool from another room. Kreisai said that Habit was not a bad man from the beginning, but one night ruined his whole life. That night it was Hedget's brother's wedding and he had drunk too much. When Hedget's brother asked him to stop, the drunk Hedget killed his brother. When his father tried to stop him, Hedget killed him too. After some time, when he regained consciousness, he surrendered himself to the police in remorse. Anyway, then all the prisoners started trying to open the machine. Then the warden from outside called the pigeon man to the door to talk. Actually 1 hour of their time had passed, but Bohemian said that it would take them 1 more hour to take the pigeon out alive. Then the warden talked to the captain who was tied inside. He said that there is no pigeon here and said this, so just seeking a chance to escape. Then the warden said they have 60 more minutes to release the captain and guard. Then the warden reminded the Bohemian, "Why are you messing with your life? I had told you that you would be released within a year after completing the workshop work." But when the other prisoners heard this, they became very angry because it meant that Bohemian had used them for his own benefit. Seeing this, the captain began to laugh loudly, and Bohemian slapped him in the face. Then, when he started to release the captain, Needle opposed him. Then Bohemian stated that he would free only the captain while holding the guards as captives. Then, when the Bohemian emerged with the captain, the police chief suddenly fired at him. The control officer brought the captain back inside, worsening the situation. Meanwhile, the border guard angrily punched the police chief, who said, "What happened, brother? It's over. Our soldier must be removed." Then, many soldiers arrived there in a truck. Meanwhile, all the prisoners managed to make a hole in the lid of the machine. Bohemian attempted to extract the pigeon by reaching his hand inside, but he was unable to grasp it. Needle even tried to cut the lid using a grinder, but it proved to be ineffective. Eventually, they decided to make another hole, however, they lacked the necessary tools. So, Bohemian took the key to the tool room from the captain. Meanwhile, the soldiers were ready to attack the workshop. Inside, the prisoners were trying to melt iron with a welding machine, but they couldn't operate it. Then the captain stepped in to assist. While he was melting iron, the soldiers were setting up a bomb at the door. The prisoners eventually managed to get the machine working, but a pigeon refused to leave. The captain then drew his gun and shot at the prisoners. Suddenly, the hatchet struck his neck, then hit his head, killing him brutally. The guard was stunned. The hatchet cleaned the pigeon with water. Suddenly, a huge explosion at the door let water in. The prisoners were scared and lay on the ground, but the hatchet stood and blew the pigeon into the air. The police chief ordered to shoot, and the hatchet died on the spot, but the prisoner lay on the ground. Everyone started celebrating the pigeon's freedom. The police chief tried to kill them too, but the guard stopped him from behind. The guard lied that the hatchet had held them all captive, and because of this the prisoners were sent back to jail without any punishment. The hatchet became a hero for the man and his team, and as soon as the hatchet was freed, the purpose of the hatchet's life was fulfilled and he died. So according to you, did the hatchet do the right thing? Do tell us in the comments. See you in the next video.